Oh Lord, it's good to be here with you, my friends. I've been thinking about this one sentence that has ruined more relationships, more friendships, and probably more Saturday plans than any other. I'll be there. Sounds innocent, right? We've all said it, sometimes with the best of intentions, sometimes just to end a conversation faster. But here's the thing. Those three little words are like social bubble wrap. Fun to pop, totally useless for protection. So imagine this. You're throwing a small get-together. Maybe just a few friends, a pizza, a drink, nothing fancy. Everyone says they'll show up. One by one, the messages start rolling in. Sorry, something came up. Traffic's insane tonight. Rain check? And suddenly it's just you, pizza, and the echoing sound of your own disappointment. That room turns into a museum of missed connections. That's when I realized something. It wasn't just people being lazy. It was a whole culture of talking big and showing up small. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe to Confident Connection Lab so you don't miss the rest of this series, and drop in the comments where you're watching from. I'm curious who's actually showing up here. Let me tell you, I used to be that guy. You know, the one who said yes to everything but mentally meant probably not? It wasn't even intentional. I just didn't want to look like a jerk. So I'd overcommit, underdeliver, and quietly hope no one noticed. Spoiler alert, they always did. Because people can feel when your words are empty, like shaking an old soda can. You can tell there's nothing inside. There was this one time I told a buddy I'd help him move. Simple task, right? Boxes, truck, classic friendship ritual. I bailed last minute because I wanted to sleep in. When he sent me a single thumbs up emoji, it hit harder than any angry rant ever could. That silent emoji said, "Cool man, message received, you're unreliable." That morning changed me. I realized showing up isn't about grand gestures. It's about the boring, consistent stuff that earns quiet respect over time. The wild part is how your brain plays defense when you flake out. You build this internal PowerPoint presentation of excuses. You tell yourself you're too tired, too busy, or it wouldn't have made much difference anyway. But deep down, you know what it's doing? It's teaching your brain that your word doesn't have weight. And once your brain stops believing your own promises, other people follow right behind it. That's how trust leaks out, slowly, silently, through the cracks of your own inconsistency. I read somewhere that reliability is the social proof of emotional maturity. Not how much you say you care, but how much you follow through when no one's watching. And honestly, that line punched me in the gut. Because for years, I thought care was about big speeches, deep conversations, or dramatic gestures. Turns out, it's showing up on time, doing what you said you'd do, and telling the truth when you can't. That's not romantic or flashy, but it's the real currency of trust. Now, I get it. Life happens. Stuff breaks down, people get sick, traffic is real. I'm not saying become a robot who never cancels. What I am saying is own your cancellations. If you can't make it, tell people early. Be honest. Don't ghost. Don't vanish. Don't send the classic, maybe next time, just to escape confrontation. People respect clarity way more than politeness. A simple, "Hey, I overcommitted. I'm sorry I can't make it tonight," keeps trust alive longer than fake enthusiasm ever will. And once you start practicing this, something strange happens. People notice. They start trusting your words again. You become that person whose yes means yes and whose no means no. That's power, real power. Not from dominance or charisma, but from reliability. Because in a world where everyone's busy pretending, the reliable one becomes magnetic without even trying. Here's the uncomfortable truth I had to learn. Showing up doesn't make you special, but not showing up destroys your credibility fast. Think about every time someone loved you enough to count on you, and you let them down. Multiply that by the number of times it's happened to you. That's how collective cynicism is born. Every missed dinner, every ignored text, every broken promise adds one more layer of emotional scar tissue, and healing that takes more than good intentions. So if you take anything from this chapter, let it be this. Mean what you say and say less if you have to. Because when your words start matching your actions, your relationships start shifting too. Suddenly, people want to be around you, not because you're perfect, but because you're real. And real will always be impressive. We'll go deeper into that in the next chapter. But for now, keep this thought close. You don't need to promise the world. Just show up for it. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Because hey, if we're talking about showing up, let's start right here, with you actually being here for the next episode of Confident Connection Lab. Let me make an important note here. You ever meet someone who promises everything, but somehow always disappears when you need them? Yeah, I used to be fascinated by that mismatch between what people say and what they actually do. And one day, I realized something kind of wild. There's a psychological reason behind our flakiness. It's not always pure laziness. Sometimes it's guilt, social anxiety, or even the weird dopamine hit we get from being liked when we say yes. But says your brain's trying to survive, not sabotage. It just sucks at predicting how future you will actually feel when the time comes. Back in the day, when I first started reading about behavioral psychology, I'm talking casual bedtime scrolling, not a PhD, I came across this concept of trust as a biological currency. The idea is simple. Every time you show up, your brain releases oxytocin, the same chemical that makes you feel bonded to people. It's literally like hitting a tiny emotional jackpot every time you keep a promise. But when you don't show up, that system punishes you. You lose credibility points, not just in their eyes, but in your own self-image. That's why guilt feels so awful. It's your brain trying to send a memo saying, "Dude, we messed up." Let me tell you how this played out for me. A few years ago, I kept agreeing to hangouts I didn't want to go to. Every time I bailed, I'd tell myself I was just tired, or they'd understand, or whatever excuse made sense that night. Over time, those friends stopped inviting me. And the worst part wasn't loneliness. It was realizing they had learned I wasn't dependable. One of them even said, half joking, "We figured you probably won't come anyway." That stung. That line right there was in action. My reliability score had hit rock bottom. So here's the fun part, because yes, there is hope. Neuroscientists call it the consistency loop. Basically, when you follow through on commitments, even when it's inconvenient, your brain releases a mix of serotonin and dopamine that rewards integrity. The more consistent you are, the more your brain starts linking reliability with identity. You literally rewire yourself into being the kind of person who shows up. Isn't that kind of badass? Small promises, repeated over time, become your character's neural signature. It's not about trying harder, it's about training smarter. But let's bring this back to the social level. People can feel reliability way before they can define it. Have you noticed how certain friends instantly calm you down just by saying, "I got you"? That's not magic. It's safety created through dozens of small follow-through moments. Humans evolved to detect reliability as a survival skill. When you lived in small tribes, knowing who would actually show up for the hunt meant life or death. Fast forward a few thousand years, and the stakes are smaller, but the emotional system hasn't changed. Your brain still lights up like a Christmas tree when it recognizes a person who consistently keeps their word. I once ghosted a date because I panicked last minute. I told myself it was harmless, just one night. But when I saw that same person at a coffee shop weeks later, the look they gave me was pure frost. I wanted to disappear under the table. That awkward silence taught me more than any psychology book ever could. Trust breaks quietly, but it echoes loud. Every time you disappoint someone, your connection downgrades. It's like moving from a strong Wi-Fi signal to one bar of maybe later. The irony is that unreliable people often think they're protecting themselves. They avoid showing up because they fear judgment, pressure, or failure. Been there. But the truth is, reliability doesn't trap you. It frees you. It gives you cleaner relationships, less overthinking, less guilt. Because when your actions and your words match, you stop performing. You start being. You don't need to juggle stories or remember excuses. That mental peace, that's trust, flowing both ways. So what do we do with all this? Start small. Take one promise you've dodged recently, just one, and redeem it. Message that friend you flaked on. Follow through on that task you've ignored, or simply show up to something on time. Don't announce it. Don't make it heroic. Just do it quietly. Over time, these micro moments compound. The of showing up isn't just data, it's daily reps. Like a muscle, reliability grows stronger every time you keep your word. And when it does, people start to notice. Not because you're perfect, but because you're predictable in the best way possible. That's trust. That's power. And that's the kind of chemistry that no charm or speech can fake. Oh Lord, it's good to be here again. You and me, wrapping things up with something that's not just about theory, but about practice. About actually becoming that person people can rely on. The one whose word has gravity, whose presence calms down chaos before words even start. I used to think being dependable meant being endlessly available, like an emotional customer service line. I learned painfully that it's not about saying yes to everything. It's about meaning it when you do. Let's start with a simple truth. Reliability doesn't mean perfection. It means integrity plus follow-through, on repeat. People think they lose credibility because they make mistakes. Nope. They lose it because they make excuses. You can screw up, show up late, even cancel plans. But if you're honest about it and fix things where you can, you're still in the trust game. It's the hiding, the I forgot, the ghosting that kills your reputation one quiet moment at a time. Trust doesn't need flawless, it needs human who owns up. I remember my turning point, man. A friend texted me one night. Nothing fancy, just a, hey, could you talk? I saw it, got anxious, and told myself I'd reply later. Then I didn't. Days passed, and when I finally reached out, they told me their dad had been in the hospital. Hearing that sank my stomach right through the floor. I wasn't a terrible person, just a careless one. But that moment taught me something I carry every day. When people call you, it's not just for help, it's for presence. They don't need your advice. They need your attention. From that night, I made a small rule for myself. If I can show up, I do. If I can't, I say so right away. No stories, no half-truths. Weirdly, it made my life simpler. No guilt loops, no mental gymnastics remembering what I promised. People started to trust me again, slowly. The more direct I got, the more I realized reliability wasn't draining. It was freeing. You trade anxiety for clarity. That's when I started seeing that showing up isn't about more effort. It's about honest effort. There's this mental shift I want you to try. Instead of thinking, I have to be more reliable, think, I want to be someone whose presence feels safe. Safety. That's what reliability creates. When people know you'll follow through, they relax around you. They share more, joke more, drop the filters. That's when relationships shift from shallow to sacred. You become the person people breathe easier around. And honestly, there's no better compliment than being the calm in someone else's chaos. Of course, you can't pour from an empty tank. Let's talk about the guilt trap. Some of us overgive until we're running on fumes, thinking that's what showing up means. Nope, it means honesty both ways. It's okay to say, I can't help right now, as long as it's said with care. Being reliable doesn't mean being a doormat. It means being a door that actually opens when you knock. Strong boundaries make consistent presence possible. Without boundaries, reliability becomes resentment wearing a smile. You know what else I realized? Reliability creates attraction, not just romantically, but socially, professionally, spiritually. People crave stability because most of life is unstable as hell. When you become that stable force, you stop chasing connection. Connection starts chasing you. You become the person people rely on not because you're the loudest, but because your word doesn't bounce. And that quiet confidence, that's pure gold. But hey, you will still mess up sometimes. I do. The trick is to repair fast. If you drop the ball, pick it up, apologize, and move forward. The faster you take accountability, the less damage it does. When people see that you care enough to fix things instead of pretending they didn't happen, their trust rebounds stronger. Perfection is forgettable. Effort is unforgettable. Every mistake becomes a spotlight for growth if you let it. So, here's where I'll leave you. Being someone people count on isn't built overnight. It's a daily practice of aligning your words and your actions, keeping promises to yourself first, and showing up even when it's inconvenient. That's when you start to feel grounded, confident, connected, all the things you've been chasing in other people's validation. Showing up isn't what you do, it's who you become. And when that transformation clicks, life doesn't just get easier, it gets real. If this hit home, stick around. Subscribe to Confident Connection Lab, where we keep turning messy human behavior into practical connection skills. Because let's face it, if you made it here, you're already showing up. Now, let's keep becoming the kind of humans others can count on.